there is one idea of the Greens that we're holding on, don't hate, which is I do think that we have to have a chat about whether we need to increase the dole. Hear me out. Now, I think that there should be an ability for us to say, well, OK, you can get an increased amount of the dole if you agree you will only take it for a shorter period of time. Therefore, there'll be that little bit of extra money, but it is meant to be in between jobs. But here they are, Labor Party coming out and saying that they believe that the dole should be increased. Some of the groups that want this, they want it up by $75 per payment. That, of course, is hundreds of millions of dollars on top of the welfare bill that already sits at $158 billion. Have a look.
We've said for some time now, in the lead up to the last election in particular, that we don't think that Newstart is adequate. We took to that election a proposal to review Newstart because the dollars involved are quite large and you want to make sure that you get all of the interactions with other payments and other programs right.
Well, that's sort of supportive. That seems a little hotter than where they actually landed here. But, Cory, look, clearly you can't have a dole that sits at exactly the same level forever. At some point in time, the spending of the dole from 20 years ago is different than it is today. That's why I'm sympathetic to, OK, walk me through this. Conversely, I don't want to blow the budget out of the water, but help me out about what's wrong in the logic of saying this needs to change rather than being the same number locked down.
Well, because, Paul, it's meant to be the bare basics safety net and a means of people being incentivised to go out and work. And a much better thing to do would be to say, OK, we're going to penalise you much less for every hour of paid work you get, so that if you do get a job for 5 hours a week and that's all you can do, you're not going to lose the equivalent in your dole money. You've got to be better off for even going to work for an hour. Because right now we have a problem where there is intergenerational welfare bludgers. You've got people who are opting out of life, getting on the drugs and doing nothing and thinking the world owes them some sort of support. I don't buy that. I'm really sorry. There are opportunities out there that we've got backpackers filling, we've got tourists filling, we've got young people filling. We can provide many more opportunities. There are jobs if people want to do it.
All right, what do you think?
Yeah, I basically agree with Cory. I mean, there are plenty of jobs out there, but we always say, oh, Australians aren't prepared to do that, you know, work in abattoirs or pick fruit or whatever it is. Cory's absolutely right. But more importantly, inflation is non-existent. Interest rates are non-existent. Why is it that those on the dole, the unemployed and pensioners and so on are suffering so much? It's because what has gone up? The cost of energy, which has gone up massively over the past 5 years, hundreds of percents. And so you now have a situation where what was a reasonable amount of money for the poorest people, the pensioners, the retired, the elderly, the sick, those on the dole, they cannot. The cost of living is now so extreme, and it's because of energy. It's because we are in the Paris Agreement. We should pull out of that, and this government should be concentrating like crazy on getting energy prices down and getting rid of the subsidies for renewables. That's what the real problem is, not the setting of the dole.
All right, what do you think, Richo, about the dole?
Well, I think the dole's got to go up. I think we've held Newstart back too long. I think years, actually. I think we've held it back too long. I think that's because we want people to work and we don't want it to look too easy and all the rest of it. That having been said, it's got too hard now. And I think trying to live on it is not something any of us would like to do. So I think it needs to go up. I think there needs to be some pretty strict conditions on trying to get work, and having a look at the sort of full-time unemployed. I've never gotten over an ABC documentary which looked at a family in Campbelltown in Sydney, or just near Campbelltown, and 3 generations of unemployed in the one house.
It's horrible.
What hope have the kids got? Because the kids have got no horizons. The horizon is the front gate, period, full stop, amen. And I think that's really sad. That's something that I don't know how to tackle.
Well, I'll tell you, the one leader in the world who is tackling it is Donald Trump. So you're getting the poorest people getting into jobs. Unemployment is at its lowest it's been for decades. You've got more blacks, Hispanics, women getting into the jobs that they never got before because Donald Trump lowered taxes and pulled out of the Paris Agreement. It works.